Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode from Your Own Pathway Leadership and Mental Well-Being in the Workplace. For those who are new and don't know who I am, my name is Poiab. I am a trained psychotherapist turned empowerment life coach and organizational leadership consultant. And this is the reason why I am doing these episodes because as a therapist, again, even though my work was in grief, loss, trauma, I also did employee assistance program therapy. And because of that experience, I bring all the experience and knowledge to do these episodes to really help companies and individuals to help empower them to forge their own path and to own it, especially in business and life. And so it's been about 2 weeks since I last put out an episode. And in those 2 weeks, I have been researching, and anytime I open up like an article or a Google or anything, there's always something about workplace and about mental well-being or about layoffs, whether we want to admit it or not, really impact our mental well-being and our mental health. And so as you all can see, today's episode is talking about how to cope after being laid off, and the episode is actually called about laid off. So here's what's next. And so I want to acknowledge that layoffs are hard. Layoffs are really hard, especially if you have a family, if you have a mortgage, if you have expenses. And I understand that it is a hard, scary time for a lot of people. And so my intention in doing this episode today is to hopefully alleviate some of that stress, some of that anxiety, and to really help whoever is watching this give them an outline or just something for them to help them with as they navigate a layoff. And so, without further ado, let's get into this. I noticed that my new favorite term is "without further ado." So, without further ado, let's get right into this. So, you've been laid off. What's next? I know that emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, financially, it's probably very chaotic for you to feel whatever you're feeling. And I want to say that it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. And it's a it's a valid question. It's like you've been laid off. So what's next? And coping mentally after layoff can be just as hard as losing something important in your life. And so I I want to say that even though grief and loss, when we think of grief and loss, we often think about the passing of a loved one or a pet or something living. And when you lose a job through layoff, you're going to experience grief and loss in that capacity also. And so losing a job can be emotionally, like I said, challenging, and it's natural to feel uncertain and stressed about what's next. Of course, I think the most important thing that people think about is financially. And financially, yes, it can be tough too, especially if you're not prepared. And I would say most layoffs, people are not prepared because it's a layoff. I mean, it'd be wonderful if companies would let us know ahead of time who they're thinking of laying off so that we can prepare. And I would say talking to most of my clients who were laid off, they were not upset that they were laid off. They were upset about how they were laid off. And oftentimes it was done in very inhumane ways where there was a lot of shame that they felt. And so clients and people and employees are not mad about being laid off. What they're mad about or upset about is how they were laid off. And so, again, many people struggle to make ends meet after layoff, and it can be hard to know how to move forward. And so, if that is your situation, know that I'm thinking of you. Know that I'm thinking hoping for the best of you. And hopefully, if you were laid off, there is at least some severance package that the company offered you, or you can also apply for unemployment and benefits through your state. And so, my intention in doing this episode today is really to talk about how you can take care of your mental health after a layoff. And your mental health and your mindset is going to really make a difference in how you take your layoff. And it is so crucial for anyone who's been laid off to really seek support from loved ones. If your company offers you therapy for a certain few months or weeks until as part of your benefit package, I would highly recommend you take advantage of that. So, here are some things that I want you to consider if you have been laid off. So, number one is first and most important is acknowledge what you're feeling. Don't shove it down. Don't say, I'm going to get over this. I need to get over this. You don't need to get over anything. You need to get through it. Let yourself feel the grief, the anger, the fear. And let's be honest, sometimes we feel relief after being laid off. I think for a lot of people, and especially my clients, they've known for a long time that their job they're in is no longer a good fit for them. But because it's a job, they need the money. That's all they know. It's a routine. They just keep going to the job. Of course, it's a job. And so when there is a layoff, there is such a huge sense of relief saying, oh my God, maybe this needed to happen for me to really do the things I wanted to do. Maybe this is the opportunity for me to go back to school. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to update my resume. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to go in a different direction. And so let's acknowledge the relief also, especially if, again, you've known you wanted this for a long time. This is a sign for you to say, you know what? It's time for me to forge my own path and see what it is next for me. Another thing that you can do to help with acknowledging your feelings, and I do this too, I journal. I journal every day, and for my clients, I have highly recommended for them to also journal out their feelings. And when you start journaling, don't put pressure on yourself to write perfectly. And what I mean is, sometimes when you write things out, it's not going to make sense, and that's perfectly okay. Just write down whatever it is you're feeling. Write it down. And if you want to read it, read it. If you don't want to read it, you don't have to read it. But journaling will help you. It is a great way for you to release your feelings and your emotions. And for me personally, I've journaled consistently for about almost a year now. And I have looked back at my journal and I think to myself, wow, I was feeling so much anxiety. I was feeling so much fear. I had so much doubt during January or like during September. Look how far I have come. And so, journaling is a great way to see your progress too, especially when you feel like, you know what, am I ever going to get better? Is this ever going to get better? It will. And journaling will help you see that journey and the path of how much you have overcome. Another thing you can do, as I mentioned earlier, is talk to a friend, to a support group. There are support groups out there for people who have been laid off. And again, if you can afford a therapist, or if part of your severance package is talking to a therapist, utilize those services and resources for you. Um, you are not alone in this process. I think a lot of people, when they get laid off, they feel that I'm so alone. I have so much shame. I feel I have so much guilt because I'm embarrassed that this happened to me. I want to assure you that nobody's blaming you for your layoff. Third thing is, it's okay to not be okay for a bit. It's okay to establish your boundaries by giving yourself time to grieve, to be alone, and to feel. I remember in this one situation, I had a client who was laid off, and it was between them and another person, and they chose this person because this person had been there less, and this person also was in school. So they had this brighter future than their counterpart, and they let this person go because they felt that this person would thrive better than the person that they chose to stay. And so we worked through that, and we worked through those feelings and said, "You know what? They chose you for a reason because they knew you could make it. They knew you could make it." And for the first week, people who were still working reached out to this person. This person said, "I don't want to talk to them. I just want to be left alone. I just don't need to talk to the people that still work there." And it's okay to have your boundaries. So if any of you are dealing with the same situation where people from work are reaching out to you and you don't want to communicate with them, it is okay at this point to say, "You know what? No, I'm going to have these boundaries." And when you are ready to reach out to these people, you will reach out when and if you want to. So something very important is it's okay to have your boundaries. Through all of this, you may also feel numb because your body is in shock. Again, being laid off, especially without notice, your body is going to be in shock. You're going to feel numb. You're going to be in shock. You're not going to have any feelings. It's going to be as though you are in a dissociation phase because, again, it can be very traumatic for some people. So, listen and take care of your body. Number two is when you are laid off, learn to separate your identity from your job. I think, especially here in America, we are so proud about our occupation and our job that we put so much of our identity with our occupation. I mean, do you notice that the first time, or whenever you meet somebody new for the first time, after you ask them what their name is, you ask, "So what do you do?" How about we stop asking, "What do you do?" and start having other conversations about what do you like? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do in your free time? Instead of asking, "So what do you do?" Because when we ask that, we associate our person with their job and occupation. So many of us, again, especially here in America, we tie our self worth to our work. But remember, your value is not your title or paycheck. Okay. Maybe you have skills or creativity that you never knew you had because, we put so much of emphasis of being creative, doing art, cooking, drawing, or doing something that is very visible. Maybe your creativity is actually writing or communication or something that is not as well perceived as being creative. Remember, you are worthy even if you are not working right now. And honestly, take a break. Take a break. Maybe this is the break that you've needed for so long and you were hesitant to take a break because for whatever reason, and this layoff is finally your time to take a break to heal yourself from the burnout. One of the questions that I ask a lot of my clients when they come to me, after being a layoff or, just struggling with their identity, I ask them, "Who are you beyond your job?" And, they're like, "Well, I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I'm a, brother, I'm a sister, I'm an aunt." And I said, "Those are roles. Those are roles, but who are you? Who are you and who are you beyond your job?" And a lot of them get stumped because they've never been asked that question. And so I would ask, who are you beyond your job? Remember how I mentioned about journaling as part of a way to express your feelings and your emotions? Start writing down what you feel is who you are beyond your job. And again, it doesn't have to make sense at this time. Just jot down things that you think. And you can always erase it, you can always scratch it out, and you can always start a new page. Third thing to expect when you are going through or how to cope from a layoff is expect the emotional roller coaster. I think it's so easy for a lot of people, especially when my client's been laid off and they said, you know what, next week I'm going to start applying. I'm going to go on LinkedIn. I'm going to start applying. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing that. And it's like, oh, wait, okay, hold on, hold on. Let's take a breath. Let's, slow down and see what your intentions are. I think so many of us, again, especially in this country, we're all about productivity that when we're not being productive, we feel lazy and we guilt trip ourselves to saying, oh, we're so lazy. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. It's so easy to gaslight ourselves about why it's so important to have rest and to instead of being busy, be productive. And with that production, what is the intention? So, some days you will feel productive and hopeful, others, not so much. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Normalize the ups and downs because it is going to be an emotional roller coaster. Some days you're going to be like, I got this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And some days you're just going to be like, I can't do this. I don't have the emotional capacity to do this right now. I don't have the emotional capacity to update my resume. And if you feel that way, it's okay. It's okay. Another important thing to do is track the wins, even the small ones. Sent a resume, great. Updated your resume, that's great. Went on LinkedIn, that's great. Got out of bed? That's great. Brush your teeth? That's great. Comb your hair? That's great. Had coffee? That's great. Put on pants? That's great. That are all small wins that need to be celebrated. And again, it's easy to say, well, that doesn't matter. I need to have the big things. I need to be all in. You know what? You don't have to go all in right away. It's actually counterproductive to have this black and white thinking. And there's going to be a lot of gray. There's going to be a lot of gray when you're coping from a layoff. And you know what? It's okay to be in that gray area. Fourth thing to cope or how to cope after a layoff is the importance of staying connected. Now, I know that I mentioned earlier about having boundaries. And yes, definitely have your boundaries and know when it is right for you and when it doesn't feel right for you to stay connected with other people. When you get laid off, it is so, so, so easy to isolate yourself. And with that isolation, it can easily spiral into anxiety or depression fast. And again, have your boundaries, and it's also important to stay connected to other people. You don't have to do this every day, maybe once a week, reach out to someone. It's like, or say, you know what, I have time. I can go out for coffee now, or maybe I can go for brunch. So stay connected to people. Reach out to friends or old coworkers when you are ready, or maybe even old coworkers from a different place if you are still connected to those people. Again, one of the things I loved about not loved, even now I love, even sometimes if I'm not able to do coffees or I want to connect with people from across country or either different countries, I love to set up virtual coffee chats or 30-minute, just consultations or check-ins, and it's wonderful to just check in with people, and I found that connecting with other people is so exciting, and sometimes those are the connections that may have opportunities for you. So stay open-minded and remember, you're not alone in this. Far from it. When you are going through this, it may feel like you're the only one, that nobody else understands how you're feeling. And I assure you, you are not the only one going through this. So reach out to people, and you know what? Maybe this may even be an opportunity for you to start a group or something to connect with other people who've been laid off also. So there are endless opportunities that you can take advantage of during this time. Another important thing, step number 5 on how to cope with after being laid off is create a daily routine. Now, I know that when you get laid off, it's easy to let go. And I want to say for the first week, 2, if you need to not have a routine to just rest from the burnout, that is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I'm the type of person who says, it's okay, rest. You don't always need to have a routine. Eventually, though, you will need a routine because it's easy to be stuck in a lack of routine because that's when things don't get done. So, creating structure is very important because that creates stability. And honestly, it gives your brain a break from the chaos. So, here are some things that you can do. Maybe in the morning, maybe go on LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster.com, or what other platform are there to do your job search. I know that maybe some people have never had that opportunity to work out. Maybe this is your time to start a workout routine. Go to the Y, go to gym, go outside, whatever it is. Meditate and journal. That could be like your morning routine. In the afternoon, maybe go to networking, maybe go to lunch, brunch with someone who you haven't seen for a while. And then, in the evenings, you can do your hobbies, social time, or best of all, rest. So create a daily routine that works for you. And again, be flexible with yourself. I think a lot of us are so used to having a strict routine that we don't think that having that being flexible is something that we can do. But when you are laid off, you get time back. So find a schedule that works for you. And lastly, is do something that feels like progress. So, finding a job is a full-time job in itself. I have done it, and I know that when you have a full-time job, it is so energy draining to find a job too. And so now that you're laid off, you have more time now. And so there are lots of things that you can do. So learn, one of the things that you can do, perhaps you have wanted to do this for a long time, but because of work, because of schedule, kids, whatever it is, you've always wanted to do this, but you haven't had time. Learn a new tool or a skill. I'm going to tell you right now, in talking with people, AI, I know people love it, hate it. Some people hate it, some people love it. Regardless if you love it or hate it, I'm going to tell you, learn how to use AI. Learn how to collaborate with it, learn how to use it to your advantage because right now, everybody that I've spoken to have said, learn how to use AI. Learn how to use AI. So maybe that would be a new skill for you to do. Learn AI so that that can help you get a new job. Now that you have time, maybe you can help a friend or volunteer or do a project around the house that you've been wanting to do that you haven't had chance. Third thing is one of the things that I talk to people about is, they have their job and their job feels very soulless to them. They're like, Paya, I want to do something. Like, I just feel like my job sucks my soul and yet I get paid a lot, or I feel like I'm not doing something that my soul wants me to do. And so now that they've been laid off, they have time. And one of the things we talk about is, well, why don't you go volunteer? You volunteering, that will give you ideas about what you like, what you don't like. And just remember, progress doesn't always mean that it's a paycheck. A lot of times it's growth, it's a self actualization, which will help lead you to your next step in life. Maybe you've been in finance or law for so long, or like IT, and you go volunteer and you realize, wow, I really like giving back to people. I really like listening to people. I want to be a therapist. Ha ha ha. You'll always have a job. So, it's like, I want to be a therapist now. I want to go back to school, be a therapist. So maybe and perhaps volunteer will give you your next occupation or the next steps for you to decide how you want to proceed in your life. So that is all. And again, I want to acknowledge that being laid off can be a challenging experience, but it also can lead to new opportunities if you approach this with the right mindset. So, for anybody who has been laid off, I would love to hear about your experience in comments below, what you did, what you found helpful to help other people who were in your situation. So if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Otherwise, there are other videos for you to check out also. So again, this is Poiab from Your Own Pathway. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I'm actually going to do another episode about being laid off because honestly, this is a hot topic right now, and whatever I can do to help people, that's what I aim to do. So again, this is Paya. If you're new to my channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Take care.